Now, the Australian Grand Prix over the weekend gave a reality check not just to the drivers but to their respective teams as well. Ferrari's Carlos Sainz won the Grand Prix down under, and what did that do? It ended Max Verstappen's dominance, but more importantly gave glimpses of what Sainz has to offer. Remember, he's set to leave Ferrari after the end of the current season, and his performance in Bahrain and Melbourne will send out a strong message to teams looking to sign him on. Lewis Hamilton, who had to retire due to engine failure, admitted that he has had the worst start to a season ever. But he too has something to take away from the Australian Grand Prix. A report.
The Formula One 2024 season continues to produce shockers. At the start of the season, it was all about the controversies, but now it's slowly becoming about the results too. After the Bahrain and Saudi Grand Prix, it looked like we might see another Max Verstappen and Red Bull dominated year. But the Australian GP proved that there's more drama in store. This year, we're seeing the rise of Ferrari and a first non-Red Bull win. And leading that charge was Carlos Sainz. Sainz, who missed the Saudi GP due to a surgery, put no foot wrong as he finished on top in Melbourne. Verstappen might have retired due to car failure, but nothing can be taken away from Sainz's triumph. Sainz, who was out of contract with Ferrari at the end of 2024, put up a solid show for teams willing to sign him on for the following year. Even a possibility to go back to Red Bull, where he started as a young driver.
I think we want to feel the best pairing that we can at Red Bull Racing, and sometimes you've got to look outside the pool as well. You've had a very fast unemployed driver win today, so the market is reasonably fluid with certain drivers. Based on a performance like that, you couldn't rule any possibility out. So I think we just want to take the time.
Red Bull too would be aiming to strengthen their side. Verstappen has a long contract ahead of him, but his teammate Sergio Perez runs out of contract after the end of 2024. And if he doesn't get an extension, Sainz might possibly be paired with Verstappen for the next season. Red Bull aren't the only team in the running. Mercedes are looking to fill the Lewis Hamilton void, and a straight swap deal with Ferrari could very well be ideal. Speaking of Hamilton, the 7-time world champion who's set to leave Mercedes at the end of the 2024 season might have started this year expecting to script a fairy tale one. But that seems too far-fetched at this point at least, after the opening 3 races. When Verstappen retired at the Australian GP, Hamilton would have been hungry to capitalise on the opportunity. But he experienced a similar fate as his Mercedes engine also failed. Hamilton was eliminated in Q2 at Albert Park after power unit failure. And after 7th and 9th positions in Bahrain and Saudi, this only added salt to his wounds.
It's the worst start to a season I've ever had. It's worse than 2009. It's tough on the spirit for everyone in the team when so much work has been going on over the winter. You come in excited, driven and motivated, with a mindset you're going to be fighting for the wins. Then that's not the case. Then you think, okay, maybe 2nd or 3rd, and that's not the case. And it cascades a bit further down and you go through the motions.
But despite the poor run so far, the champion still had something to take away from the Australian GP. After the end of the 2024 season, Hamilton would be joining Ferrari for the 2025 season and will be with the Ferrari setup. The only team that has challenged Red Bull so far, and the Australian Grand Prix result is the biggest example of that. It wasn't just Carlos Sainz winning the Grand Prix, but also Charles Leclerc finishing 2nd. And even in the Saudi and Bahrain races, Ferrari had at least one driver finish in the top 3. So clearly, these are good signs for Hamilton, who hasn't won a single race since December 2021. A move to Ferrari next season might fulfill his desire for another World Championship title. Nevertheless, the 3rd race of 2024 has set it up perfectly for the coming one in Japan.